Well, let's hit the slopes. My name is Bill Barnett. I'm Managing Director of C9 Hotel Works, and we're on the slopes in Niseko, Japan, one of the best alpine resort areas in the world. And certainly from C9 Hotel Works, we do an annual Niseko property market update, and there's lots of interesting data we're going to be looking at today. If you like real estate, this is one of the most dynamic property markets in the region, as well as globally, certainly for resort real estate. We are seeing the market mature more, and we are seeing changes, so stay tuned for the rest of our presentation today. I think one thing we've seen in 2021, which is, again, we've seen some of the highest transaction levels of new properties. These are properties off plan or properties in the primary market. So we are seeing transaction growth, which I think says a lot about the market during a pandemic. And I think that's an incredible result, certainly for real estate. One thing, again, when we're seeing the push in terms of areas, traditionally we had Harafu, we had Middle Village, we had Lower Village. We're starting to see this spread out into Hanazono, into Moiwa, into Annapurna, into other places as well. We are seeing new projects push out. This is a function of land pricing, as well as certainly in terms of availability of land plots. So we are seeing this peripheral effect. And we are seeing these other areas have higher growth rates, perhaps because there are bigger areas for land to develop, okay? That's an important storyline. I think one important thing is that we also see is the condominium market really has surpassed everything in terms of demand. And a lot of what's driving that are investment type properties with hotel schemes, with rental management as well. This is another important factor that we are seeing in the marketplaces. Again, people are buying in for investment, but they want lifestyle and they want rental returns. That's a really key factor. In terms of looking at our data here, we're also seeing what are the major factors in terms of the median results. We're seeing, certainly for condominiums, we're seeing 2 bedrooms be the most popular configurations. We're seeing built-up range anywhere from 50 to 100 square meters. Again, we're seeing, when you're looking at property prices in Niseko, you've got to realize it's some of the highest in the region. We're seeing pricing about $17,000 per square meter on a median basis. That's a high amount. Construction costs, of course, are high as well. You could be construction values maybe anywhere from $7,000 to $9,000 per square meter. So again, A plus B equals C. So again, you've got to look at the high cost environment, but also what people are paying for this type of properties, okay? House configurations, again, 3 bedrooms are the most popular, built up sizing anywhere from 100 to 300 square meters. Another factor are land plots. We're seeing a lot more land plots in the market. One thing we've seen over the past probably 2 years are people buying residential land plots as an investment, saying, we'll maybe build something later, but trying to make an investment in a property market where they've seen capital appreciation for a lot of years in Niseko. So that's a big factor. Again, we're in the winter wonderland. Again, seasonality, we talk about seasonality. Statistically, Niseko has more tourists in the summer than the winter months, okay? You see a lot of bus tours coming in, you have a lot of Japanese domestic market come in. I guess we always wonder about when is Niseko going to be like Whistler, and we're going to have a longer summer season, a more traditional marketplace. That's where the market's headed, but it's still not there. I think something we have to understand also with the ski lifts is probably the current pandemic is going to create a kind of thaw out in terms of the older operators, and they have to modernize these facilities. There is a connection between the number of ski lifts and the capacity and the residential market, and something has to give there. We have to see expansion of that. We have to see upgrade. Certainly Hanazono, in terms of upgrading their gondolas and these type of things, that's a big plus to the market, but the rest of the market needs that. And it's going to be interesting during the rest of the pandemic is, are we going to see perhaps some takeovers of ski areas as well and have other operators come in for those, okay? That's a dynamic of the marketplace. Again, condominiums continue to be the storyline in terms of the pricing point. And people mainly are buying these as investment vehicles. Again, they're good for use, but they're also good for renting. Over the years, there hasn't been a large hotel market, a pure hotel market in Niseko. This is a de facto process of the condo hotel market. That will change. We are seeing new hotels come within the marketplace, Six Senses. We've got Capella coming up as well and other properties. So we are going to see the traditional hotel market come in. But for now, condominiums are really filling that void. And again, houses and land plots. This is interesting to see these peripheral areas and people buying these land plots and saying, let's just hold on to it. Let's take a long-term view of the market. The one thing we know about property prices in Niseko is it's this highly stable market. And so again, long-term appreciation is pretty much a given. That won't go on forever, but right now it's a sure bet, certainly for the next few years. So again, we are seeing people transact on that basis. Certainly in terms of sales pace, we are seeing sales pace maybe perhaps diminish a bit, but we are seeing pricing for condominiums go upwards. So we are seeing price appreciation. Again, when we look at condominiums, we're seeing sales prices up. Again, certainly for the other sectors, it's not that great for absorption rates. That is an impact of the pandemic, okay? And again, when we look at branded versus non-branded, we look at these two things and saying with this type of real estate, we are seeing a propensity to start branding more hotel projects or hotel branded residences. That's going to continue. Because again, this is a destination resort and it thrives on tourism, okay? It's not like a resort market per se like Phuket or Bali where you have international schools and other facilities where people are going to live there full time. We're not seeing that evolution yet. There are some smaller schools, but it's going to take time for Niseko to get that year-round community and a base where we're not going to see really tourism dependence on that marketplace, okay? I think development pipeline, again, it's interesting. We're seeing more hotel projects come in. We're seeing more residences come up as well. So these are important factors for the marketplace. I think it's going to continue onwards because we're going to see hotels slowly come in the market and kind of replace those condo hotels we see in many other places, okay? We've seen that in Whistler traditionally. You see it in Queenstown as well in New Zealand. So that's really a market maturation fact as well. I think something that we know about Niseko is that it's a dynamic market. It's got some of the best snow in the world, but it's going to take time for this to go into a much higher trajectory where we see a year-round community grow. Right now it's still highly seasonal between summer months and winter months, and you've got the shoulder seasons where not much is happening as well. But we are seeing progress in the real estate market. That's what's driving Niseko, and we expect the prospects for the next 2 to 3 years to continue with that. And I think, Japan did a fairly good job with the Olympics. We're also seeing other infrastructure developments come through. It's going to be an interesting marketplace. But in terms of alpine real estate in Asia, Niseko is your number one bet, okay? And again, when we look at the property marketplace and development, we are seeing a fairly healthy development pipeline. We haven't seen a lot of projects being put on hold because of the pandemic, but we are seeing perhaps some delays in terms of the actual construction, and these will go slower as time goes by. Lending rates continue to be extremely low in Japan, and that fuels development as well, okay? I think long term, again, please download this report. We have our Niseko property market report. You can download it from C9 Hotel Works. Let's jump over here. There you go. Just scan this, and we'll be back to you again on a regular basis with updates for Niseko. It's one market we really feel strongly is one of the best in Asia for real estate. This has been Bill Barnett from C9 Hotel Works, bringing our Niseko property market update, and see you next time.